From Super League to Olympic distance to age group world records to Kona. Go longer with the right fuel at the right time with SFuels.
One heart, let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together cause it's Breakfast with Bob.
Poncho Man, everybody. A round of applause for an amazing Poncho Man. Welcome to our 11th annual Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Huggers on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Quintanaroo, Zoot, the original triathlon brand, of course, our Challenge Athletes Foundation. Please give it up for the 2019 Ironman World Champion, Anne Haug.
Thank you very much.
So great to see you, Annie. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
So you're coming off of winning Challenge Roth 2 years in a row. That's pretty darn cool for somebody from Germany.
Yeah, it's pretty special for me because it's like my home race. I grew up with that race, and it's always very special for me to race there and to win it twice. It's like a dream come true, and yeah, it's always like the crowd is behind you. Everything feels a bit easier, and it's one of my most favorite races.
Well, and when you're from Germany to win Ironman World Championship and Challenge Roth, that's a hard double. Not that many people have done that.
Yeah, I take everything as it comes, and I try always to race my very best. And
Yes.
To win is always something really special, and you can't take it for granted. So you always have to play your best game to be in the middle of the podium. And so I'm very happy to be able to win twice.
What did you learn from when you came here and got third in 2018? What did you take away from that?
That you have to be patient, and you really have to listen to your body, because the outer conditions are just brutal, and you can't compare the race to any other race. It seems maybe easy because it's kind of flattish, kind of really straight, but I think that's the hardest part. You have to be really concentrated till the end, because everything can happen until you cross the finish line. So you should really be aware of everything, do your nutrition right, take every aid station, don't get lazy, don't get carried away with your thoughts. So stay in the moment and try to make the best decisions possible.
So when you win this race, and it's considered the most important race in the world, how did your world change, or did it?
Of course, it was something quite special in Germany because of the double win, and then Dan as our coach. This was a very big story in Germany, and but my personal life doesn't change, and I actually don't want it to change because I really love my life still like it is, and so I do it because I love it, and I don't want outer factors to change my life because it's pretty good.
It is pretty good, and from your Olympic experience, 2012, you get 11th place, and you look at some of the athletes like Flora Duffy, Daniela Reef. You look at the athletes who were in that race in 2012 who are still racing at the top level. That's pretty cool, because I think they think, oh, Annie just came out of nowhere in 2019 and nobody knew who she was before, and then you win the Ironman. But they don't realize how far back this goes. When did you get into this?
I started quite late. I turned professional when I was 27, but I wanted to do ITU racing because it was always so fascinating for me to be part of the Olympic Games or make it the Olympic Games. And it was a big step in my career. And after Rio Olympics, I wanted to move on and go to the long course. And it's pretty amazing because my former Australian squad with Lisa Nord and then Sarah True all now racing here. So it feels a little like a flashback.
Yes.
But it's nice to see that all the athletes moved on from ITU to long course. And it's nice to still have familiar faces around.
So from 2007, 2010, 19 ITU races, 14 top 10s. So obviously you were having success at that format. When did you make that decision that I want to try something longer?
I always struggled with the swim, and the swim got stronger and stronger every year. And in ITU, it's just brutal. If you don't make the first pack, the game is over. Even if you run a world record on the 10K, you don't even have a chance to win anything anymore. And with the fact of having won almost everything without an Olympic medal, I have just so much expectation on myself, and I set myself under so much pressure, and I just got hit by reality that my swim is just not strong enough to make it on the Olympic distance. And then I had to make a decision, quit triathlon or try something new, and then I made this decision to try something completely new, and I moved to long course.
And had success right away?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I tried 70.3 first, and I won my first 70.3 race. So that was a good motivation point, to be honest. And then from there on, I really, opened my mind, because I always my heart is always with ITU and the short, fast stuff. But I find a really big fascination for the long course as well. It's completely different, but it's another fascination, and I'm very, very thankful that I have both of these careers.
And what I love is how good you've gotten on the bike, right? If you look at where you were, and the problem with the ITU race is if you swim from behind, you have to ride up, and you use so much that your running is so good that you can lose some of that. With this, when you can come out of the water and not be that far back, and then you can use your bike as a weapon, and then your other weapon, being able to run to win, it just changes everything.
It is, but to be honest, because I was such a bad swimmer in ITU, I always has to push my bike as hard as I possibly could, and then run a 10K with completely flat legs. So I'm pretty used to run with completely damaged legs. But it was a big move to go from ITU, because you either ride super hard or you stay in the pack. And now you have to push your constant watts, and it takes time to change. I mean, you can't do it overnight.
No.
It takes times and a long training case on the bike to get your muscles work in an Ironman way.
You've also had a few tough injuries in your career, right?
Definitely.
So you've gotten to the point where it's a process. I'm injured, now I got to get back. How hard does that become as you get a little older?
Yeah, it always happens overnight. You wake up and bam, something happens, and all your dreams, all your goals, everything is gone, and it's always really hard. And I think on the other side, you get more experience, the more injuries you had, and you can bounce back if you're really willing to put everything in your comeback, and if you have the faith to know, okay, everything is possible if I just put the work in it. But the older you get, the harder it will become. So fingers crossed that it was my last injury in 2019. But it comes with the sport. You train on the limit. You try to squeeze everything out of your body, and if you don't do it, then you don't perform to your very best. So it's always a fine line. Well, being fit and not so fit.
As Sebastian says, being fit and effed. Right, there's a fine line between being fit and effed. In 2014, you had a structure fracture in your hip. And at that point, you were thinking maybe the career is over, because you've already been to an Olympics. And were you close to hanging it up?
Not really, because I always have these little voices inside me and my dreams. And I think, no, it can't be over, because I have so many goals I still want to achieve. And no, I think as long as I have these voices inside me who pushes me every day and say, no, there's so much to gain for, as long as I will do it. And I had 4 stress fractures, 3 in my hips, and I always bounced back. So I think when I lost my motivation, then it's over, not from an injury.
And what are the goals here?
To squeeze out the best race possible. That's all I can hope for, because I don't know how good the others are. It's you have to concentrate on yourself and be proud after the finish line, and you should say, okay, it's everything I could have given today, and if I can say that, I'm more than happy. For people here who don't know Challenge Roth and what the crowds are like there, give them a sense of how fun that is, doing that bike ride up Solar Hill with 250,000 people cheering for you. It's absolutely amazing. It was so loud, I thought my ear were exploding. It was absolutely amazing, because I did it the year before, but because of Corona restrictions and a construction area on the road, there was no Solar Hill, but this time it was full on, and it was absolutely amazing. I can just recommend it to everyone. I love it. Annie, as always, thank you so much for taking time. Always such a treat. Give it up, 2019 Ironman World Champion, Anne Haug. Poncho Man, take us out. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. It's
Breakfast with God. Chee-hoo.
All right.